day 31, sun coming up over Dodman Point. We're heading out this way. Morning, Jay here from I Wonder UK. It's day 31 of the Southwest Coastal Bass Challenge. Today we're headed towards Mevagissey. There you go. Heading out towards Mevagissey. Looked at Port Low yesterday. We camped just the other side of it, just off the side of the path, to be honest with you. Not ideal, bit of a slope. It rained last night, it was windy and it was cold. So not got much sleep, but it's a brand new day. Look, that's Dodman Point. We're heading out there. Apparently it's a bit gnarly out that way. Got a couple of little bits of rough spots today, but then a smooth ride at the end. Let's get going. These are the bits that slow you down. You need to look for your footing, especially when you're carrying a rucksack, and make sure you've got a stable foot. But yeah, definitely these are the bits that slow you down. You need to take into account when you're going for a walk. So when you think you're just doing 10 or 12 miles, you need to take into account the conditions you're actually walking over. We have a few hilly bits before we start. Going up that way. And I can see the path on the other hill there. Just for a nice start to your day. The views are great. I think I said previously on another video that I think you should have your own little method of what you do, like pack away your stuff in a certain order, put things in a certain place and you can always find them, etc. Sounds boring, but it does work. But don't be frightened to change it. This morning, for example, I normally wake up, put the kettle on, because I like a cup of tea to start the day off. It rained overnight because of the pitch of the tent and where I am, right next to the sea. There's a lot of condensation, so I packed most of my stuff up, opened the tent up and got outside and made a cup of tea and then morning porridge, packed up the rest of the stuff. Why? I left the tent open and let the wind do a job for me. Maybe took another 10-15 minutes, but at least I put the tent away dry. Like I say, you can tell this morning, it's beautiful sunny morning, but it's cold. First thing this morning is bitterly cold. You can't feel your fingers. You need to keep rubbing your hands or put them in your pockets to make them function. That's what it was like this morning, but that wind did the job on the tent. Just got outside, open door halfway, pushed it back so the air can get inside the tent and clear all that condensation out for you. It does work. It's not against you, you just need to use what you've got. Here's another example of just taking into consideration things that can slow you down. These rocks I'm trying to place my feet, and I've got to there, and this rock there is actually higher than my hip. For me to drop down there with a rucksack on is going to slow me down. Not complaint, just be aware of it. Here's a great example, I think, of looking back and reviewing where you've been. Centre of screen now is the headland where I was last night, and just round the corner from that is Port Low. But there's Gulls Rock, centre of screen now, and I can see quite clearly. I'll try and zoom in for you. You can literally see the headland almost where we started yesterday. Just around the end headland there is where we started yesterday. We walked that. Just getting their first sighting of Western and East Port Holland. On the way up there from Port Low, there's a few up and down bits, and there's some bits that are quite high to get up on, not quite hip high, but over knee, and there's no safety net. You're right on the edge. Fortunately enough, on the other side it wasn't windy, but just something to be aware of. I know I don't need to suck eggs, but please just take your time. It is a little bit harsher than you think initially. Not too bad, but it's just that little bit harsher. Just take your time. I'm lucky today, it's nice and dry. But those stones would be slippery. Like I say, you're making big steps up. On the approach to the Port Hollands, it drops down into some wood and the path comes nice again. And you get a little rocky section again, not very long, a few minutes, and then it drops down into wood today. You start descending, losing some of your height. Here's the thought: when does a walk become a hike, or a hike become a trek? Any ideas? And an extension from that, what is the definition of scrambling? I had a discussion with someone the other day who actually did that sort of thing, and I didn't want to over egg some of these walks and say, oh, I was scrambling around blah blah blah, because I thought, well, maybe that's mountaineering stuff, isn't it, when you scramble? But I said, well, my argument is if it's above my hips, or I need to take my rucksack off and throw it over a rock to get over it, surely I'm scrambling. And he concurred, yeah. If it's slowing you down to the stage where you're not walking anymore, you're not climbing, it's the bit in between where you're scrambling over stuff. So I didn't want to over egg the pudding, but yeah, some of the stages on here are scrambling. This isn't this morning, don't get me wrong. This isn't St Ives Pendine Watch or the approach to Coverack, the last couple of hours of that. It's just a few little bits to watch out for. Here's another thing to consider. It's nearly 10 o'clock today. The sun's been shining through since 7 this morning. Here comes this beautiful blue sky. The little white fluffy clouds are moving away. But as you can tell, I'm still zipped up. I've got my wind cheater and my beanie on today. And even though the ascents, I'm just getting there now. But I start needing to lose a layer. 2 days ago, coming from Helford Passage, it was gloomy, grey, couldn't see the sun all day. By 9:30 I was down to a t-shirt. Just the variety of the UK weather, which I think adds to it. Until you're actually out here, you don't know. Today, you look through your window indoors, you go, what a beautiful day. I'm gonna get out there. And the air was cold from last night. 2 days ago, looked grey, horrible, dank. You think I'm gonna sit inside by the telly. It was fine, literally fine. I was walking with a t-shirt and a pair of shorts all day long. Weird stuff, eh? Quick scan round west and then east Port Holland. See, looks nice. East Port Holland. We need to go around there, up past the houses there. Oh, someone's just walking up there now. And find our way up through the hill and through there next. Back to the Port Hollands, west and east. As you come out of there, you need to go round the village because you're not allowed to walk down the sea wall anymore. Go up a zigzag path and basically you're just gaining elevation again, but the track's just a track with a few steps every now and again. But that sea is spectacular today. Sorry, sun. The sun on the sea is spectacular today. But we've got to move on. With explanation for the weather this morning. I said it was bright sun, but last night was cold, and it was cold this morning. I couldn't feel my fingers. Struggled a bit to do silly things like shoelaces and stuff. My eldest daughter just phoned me just to make sure I was still alive, make sure I was alright, because I didn't have signal last night. So I think I let my girlfriend Elle know what 3 words, and then that was it for the night. She phoned up and she said that she lives in Norfolk and they had snow first thing this morning. She said the sun's broke through now, but literally first thing was snow, so she was just phoning up to make sure I was alright. Yeah, of course I'm alright. But thanks for ringing. Just stopped for 5 minutes and turned out to be 20. Mandy was walking a couple of dogs. That's what she's doing at the moment. Fascinating person. It's lovely to have those opportunities to be able to talk to somebody like that. As you leave the lookout tower, you need to have one leg shorter than the other by about 2 or 3 inches because you're walking on a slope. It's grass, but I can feel it's quite awkward. Today is nice and dry, but I imagine it's quite slippery once it's got wet. Just something to be aware of. And it's nice to have the time to engage with people again. Porflunny Cove. I know it's not Porflunny, Porflunny. The sky looks fantastic, doesn't it? Shimmering off the sea there. There's a lot of people down here. Well, a lot of cars anyway. To find my way back out here, I'm guessing up and around that bit of woodland shrubbery there somewhere. The air's still cold, it's getting on for 12 o'clock and I've still got my wind cheater on, so. As you walk down the little road bit to Lunny Cove, don't forget to have a little look back over your left shoulder. You see the castle that you can just see behind me now. Quite impressive. I think it's privately owned. As you leave Lunny Cove, you have to walk over like a pasture, I guess, green pasture, which is pleasant walking, and up a slope. You need to get some elevation again to come back up to approach Dodman Point. Maybe. No, I'm going to come back down again. Like I say, it's a slope with no steps. Well, there are a few steps at the end, but not many, and they're not steep. Promise. So the elevation I just gained, I guess I'm going to lose again. After you come up the hill from Lundy Bay and then come down again and have a little bit through some woods, you've got this lovely like meandering path that you can just about make out in front of you from the cutting through the gorse, etc., to gain that elevation to get on the peninsula. Not peninsula, Dodman's Point. Centre of the screen is where we started yesterday. Covered all of that down, and last night I was looking out to Gull Rock. Gull Rock was slightly behind me, so I'd say centre of screen now is where I started today. So we've come all the way down through there, through Lundy Cove, and then come back over this peninsula. First view of Hemmock Beach. There's a few up and downs a bit where you have to pull yourself up and slow yourself on the way down, but overall the path's not stony and gnarly. It's fairly easy to walk. It's just, you know, a couple of little up and down bits. Well, let's push on, get past Hemmock and up to Dodman Point, but it's still eluding me. We're a couple of miles from Lunny Bay now. We come over that hill, centre screen, and basically follow the track all the way down to a little bit of sand there at the bottom of Kimmeridge Beach. Now we're having to go in some elevation again to get up to Dodman's Point. Track's alright, a little bit steep and then it lolls out, but it's a hill. It's not there to have a go at me, so I just have to climb it. The posse of my favourite animal. I don't think. Trying to charge me a toll, no doubt. Other things coming, kids. Hi guys, keep calm. Across at Dodman Point, to be honest with you, it's one of those ones that just, for a little while, doesn't seem to get any closer. And all of a sudden you're on the final stretch. You know, it's a couple of full summits, you go up a couple of times and on. From Dodman Point, looking back to the headland, whatever. St Anthony, I think, is it? The other side of Falmouth. That's what we walked yesterday, around here. Let's zoom in a little. Around to there's Gull Rock, and I think that there is Port Low. It's where we left this morning. Around the Port Highlands. Round. Can't actually see back into London anyway. Round and then across this headland, come up here. It's nearly 1:30, which is, I estimated this morning to get here for about 12:30. But I've stopped and chatted to a couple of people, some really, really nice people, had a good conversation, so I don't regret it at all. Oh, quite a good view there, look. There you go. The view from here is, I'm not going to say stunning, I'm not going to use any of those words, because unless you're sat here, the camera's not going to pick it up. It's knowing that you walked from there yesterday and you're here. I've still got some walking to do. I want to get to Mevagissey, but sense of achievement is pretty good. Yes, that cold. I got my beanie back on. The walk down from Dodman Point is a compacted mud path all the way through to the other side of Vault Beach, so the east end of Vault Beach. And because you've been coming down all the way, you guessed it, the other end we got some elevation to get. Not much, just a bit of elevation on a sort of gravelly path. And then hopefully around the next corner or two we'll see Goron Haven. Let's go have a look. Last little bit back at Goron Haven, you basically drop down into Goron Haven. Can't remember if it's called Church Street or something. You walk up that, turn right, and then walk up a big, long, steady hill past lots of houses that you know you'll never be able to afford, even if you wanted them. And then the path starts coming out over that pasture just there. House centre of screen, there's the last one, I think. No, it's not, sorry, this one here. And then you walk literally straight up that pasture. The second part of the day after Dodman Point is a bit harder. I don't know if that's me. I'm a bit fatigued because it's a little bit cold today. Again, without bleaching, my tendons still giving me jip. But you're on the bottom part of the headland point, I guess, so you can't see where you're going. Whereas the last day and a half you've been going around a bay, which is lovely. Like you could see Gull Rock all yesterday, and then Dodman Point all this morning, which is fantastic. But this little bit you're on the outside right at the bottom, so you can't see it. I'm hoping in a minute we get round the headland, and when we all see back in again. I've seen a touch of the headland in the distance, but I haven't stopped to have actually look because I'm trying to press on a bit because the wind is so cold. The wind is I'm between two lots of hedgerows here, so it does duck down, but as you can tell, it's I don't know, it's about 20 to 4. I've got my beanie back on again, got my top done up and my wind cheater on. It's cold today, cold, so that's what might be getting to me as well. So anyway, let's hope we get around the next headland or so, whenever. I think Portmeirion is the next thing I'm looking out for, but we'll see. As you come around the heads of Hadbear Point, I think it is, and Turbot Point, have a look over the edges. There's spectacular rocks, and I'm not sure, but I think there might be some seals down there. I didn't see any today, but it looks like the places they do where, you know, no one could ever get down to. Be careful, the wind's picked up now, and it's not only cold, it's strong. As soon as I get out from behind these little hedgerows, it's blowing me all over the place. But if you're brave enough, take a little peek over the edges. That's amazing. Exclusive little headland. Looks like the clouds are coming in. It's very, very cold. That wind's chilling. You know, when you get that feeling, I literally just took the weight off my back for 5 minutes. And, oh, you know you're being watched, or you got a feeling like you're being watched. These have literally just followed me up the hill. Don't know what they think I've got, but whatever it is, I haven't got it. Sorry guys. Look nice in the sun, don't they? It's cold. Look at Curious George and his gang now. Yeah, look. I'm having a go. Sniffing my rucksack, I don't know why. I wouldn't. Just a little while after leaving Chapel Point, just coming down to Portmeirion now, and then from Portmeirion, hopefully it's not far to Mevagissey, because I need to get out the other side of it. The wind's blowing, I guess, from the east direction, so I really need to be tucked down on the west side or somewhere, but I haven't really got anything pointed out yet. So we're going to pray basically. I was hoping, or I was aiming to today, to get through to Mevagissey sort of mid-afternoon, get something to eat, get a good meal inside me. And when I say good meal, I mean like fish and chips or something like that. And then stroll out the other side and wander around till I found somewhere. But time's pressing on now. And because of the cold, I feel myself really slowing. But can only try. It's Portmeirion, and as you come down the hill there's a sign that says beware of waves, which I thought that was quite a social thing to be waving back. I get it now. Not too gnarly, but oh, just kicking over the wall now. Wow. They weren't exaggerating with these waves, were they? They don't look very happy. Chucking over in front of me there. Fantastic. Take a look back. Yeah, beware of waves. Got to find my way out of here now. First real glimpses of Mevagissey. The last bit from Portmeirion, you're literally just walking up the road, and it cuts back through this little bit, which is much nicer. Let's go and have a look if I can find something to eat.